We're going to hear a case study presented by Omnevo and Emirates about the digital ancillary marketplace. Kian Gould and Sebastian Blumenthal. There you are. Morning.
All right, here we are. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah, so just a quick introduction. My name is Kian Gould. I'm the founder of Omnevo. We are one of the leaders in trying to build digital ancillary ecosystems. And then we have Sebastian.
Sebastian from Emirates in our customer experience and service delivery field. So we sit at the crossroads of commercial customer experience, digital, also focusing to our internal customers like the crew. So hopefully we can share something today that's a bit meaningful, a bit insightful also from our side to take away what it takes to integrate with Omnevo.
Let's see if the click. Yeah, so just very briefly, for those of you who are not aware of us, Omnevo has been in the market about 5-6 years now. And we started as an e-commerce for airlines and airports companies and have evolved more and more into the direction of how can we digitalize the entire ancillaries journey from retailing, from buy on board, from selling services, all in one integrated journey. And we've done so for quite a few airlines now. And we're very happy to have Emirates here with us to talk a little bit about what we've been up to in recent months. And so we will start. This clicker is a bit delayed. So maybe it's a good idea to just give a little bit of an intro on what we consider like an ancillary marketplace or an ancillary ecosystem. So what we have seen when we came into this market was that it's, and I'm sure you're aware of that, it's a super fragmented market. Most airlines act more or less as affiliate engines when it comes to ancillaries. They push their traffic essentially once they have sold the ticket to other ancillary partners, get some kind of commission, try to track if it works or not, etc. And we believe that this is an ecosystem that needs to be much more owned by the airline. All of the different digital touchpoints need to be owned by the airlines because only then you can create a true scaling effect, true conversions, a real end-to-end journey, and also the understanding of what passenger types actually are interested in what kind of things, whether it comes from retailing to food choices to what kind of services and premium experiences they want, etc. So, Sebastian.
It's your Kian's favorite slide. So why did we choose Omnevo? And I think, leave the things on the slide standing there, but in the key aspect for us really was we needed somebody as a partner who is willing to go into the trenches with us, because the reality of this part of the business that sits at the crossroads of commercial, product, and operations isn't very pretty, right? It's very mundane. So for us, it was important then in all of this digital transformation that we like to talk about, the reality of that often means doing physical things from left to right. So we couldn't forget that. Oftentimes these things are not so hard to solve, but you need a partner who's really willing to go to that depth, and most importantly also who has done it before, right? We see this a lot. It's very easy to say what we would like to do, but the reality was Omnevo had proven that, and for us that was really one of the key aspects to learn from them, learn what they had seen around the industry, but also have them being capable to put that to life. So it's...
Yeah, and I think it's those of you who are in an airline, you know how challenging it is to try to build a project across 5 or 6 different departments. Now add on top of that the complexity of working with 4 or 5 vendors and plus 5 different departments. So of course a lot of it comes down to also being able to reduce complexity.
So for us, what we aim to do, obviously, I mean, you guys are aware of our audience by and large, right? We're highly premium, global, super diverse. But that also means that we still see a tremendous value in retail, not only talking about duty-free, come to that in a second, how we are set up in that sense, but also we're handling all of the onboard ancillaries on the day of flight via the same platform. So for us, it needs to be elegant, it needs to be frictionless, especially payment for us is a massive point. And again, supporting that strategy was here from Kian's side. If we could go to the next one. A few building blocks for us, right? Like our organization needed to and has moved up as well. We've matured tremendously when it comes to developing in-house, developing native applications, very much in sync here again with the mindset. One of the things we'll be launching over the next few months is our new A350 IFE, ICE. And that is one of the key pillars really to make this come to life. Obviously connected Wi-Fi will be part of that as well. And the second key point to really make this work is, if we could go to the next one real quick, is our crew devices. So we call the one device strategy. I'm not sharing any news necessarily, but the reality again is your airlines' capabilities need to be up to snuff here as well, right? I mean, that was clearly true for us. What we've done, we've equipped 22,000 cabin crew members with iOS devices under this program, and in parallel have built up our capabilities to develop natively, where we can then also have a strong API library which we can integrate to support the necessary information here. So all of this really came together at a really good point in time where also our organization was ready to integrate with Omnevo. Because if you're just going to take their solution and dump it onto your team, you might have a really nice front end, and it's going to look great for slides like this, I suppose. But the reality is it's not going to transform into really a top-line contribution that's going to grow. And another thing that I would like to mention, we talked about mindset congruency here, this focus on an excellent product for the customer as our passengers, but also our customers, our internal staff, our crew. You can't distinguish that or can't minimize that importance. Overall, success, so I said we still see a tremendous value in retail. We have a demand that's unfulfilled today, significantly. We just talk about the plain old duty-free. Why is that? It's more often than not, it's exposure on channels where it makes sense to, you mentioned it, how fragmented a lot of the other airlines here will agree how fragmented your landscape is. What we've done, we've really pulled together ownership of the channels in retail, from the operations, from purchasing, from brand partnerships, to the IFE, to our internal development of the applications. And that together really is something super, super crucial to make this a success. And what we can see, because it is a very low baseline, but still a tremendous contribution in terms of revenue with very attractive margins, much better than what the airlines usually have, is where we really see a tremendous doubling of sales potential.
Yeah, and one of the key things maybe I can add that we see with a lot of airlines that are working with concessionaires and different suppliers and trying to pull all those pieces together is that they rarely ever have a consistent view on the data and the KPIs and the actual transactional information that enables them to do better forecasting, better planning, better capacity management, and so on. And this is a key part of our approach to do it as an end-to-end solution, that all of the data comes together as one, and that enables you to significantly reduce waste, significantly reduce disappointment, frankly, in passengers that are not getting the products that they're expecting, and a lot of other aspects like that. So we'd like to take you on a little bit of a sneak peek of what you will see with the new aircrafts that are now coming in production, but also, of course, parts of these will be across the entire fleet as well. And it's a good way to look at it as an end-to-end journey for the passenger, and where are those touch points. And for those of you who are airlines, maybe think about which of these touch points are you not actually seamlessly touching yet, because you might be missing a lot of these opportunities, and we've learned a lot about where are really the best touch points for each ancillary and for each different option that you're presenting to a customer along the journey. So from starting with the pre-trip engagement, via targeting, via emails, where you use your normal email channels, from booking confirmation to check-in reminders and check-in confirmations and so on. The ability, of course, that all of this is seamlessly integrated with the loyalty program, and the ability to utilize the data from the loyalty program to create more meaningful recommendations as well. Pre-trip is a key thing. And then the ability that you already, as you're home and you're planning your journey, to be able to pre-order, to pre-select, to decide how you want to pay, whether with miles or with different payment options. Of course, the ability when you're en route to still make last-minute choices, for example, for your return flight, etc., but maybe even for your next flight. And the ability to integrate also with the airport operations, to do operations at the airport, to do fulfillment to lounge, to be able to really have this kind of seamless journey, sitting in the lounge while you have time to spend, and using that to spend on these ancillaries. Of course, one of the most complex aspects is then getting all of that into the cabin. It's always very easy to build e-commerce solutions when you're on the ground and you have a constant connectivity. Once you get into the aircraft, things become a lot more complex. You need to take payment when you're offline. You need to take payment when you're online. You can't tell the passengers constantly, sorry, this system is not working because we are flying over India. So there's a lot of complexity to make that seamless also on the IFE. But while IFE is, of course, the ambition of any premium carrier to have a seamless experience, what we are seeing is that the bring-your-own-device approach is even more important, so that people can just use their mobile, their laptop, whatever they're currently working on, and get the same experience that they would when they're on the IFE. Maybe even a better one when it comes to the ability to have a keyboard to type, for example. But then, of course, it doesn't end there, because the journey is only the beginning of maybe the next journey. So what do you do post-journey? What do you do for your return flight? What do you and then how do you engage with these passengers also post the entire trip, potentially through delivery options, being able to pick, for example, if you want to deliver to a future flight, and also potential in doing home delivery for things that don't need to be in a tax-free environment, etc. Some of you might have heard me speak about a previous case study at Singapore Airlines, who do a lot of home delivery for goods that don't really make a lot of sense to carry on an aircraft, like wine fridges, for example. They do sell a lot of wine fridges on our platform, and so extending that to a true omni-channel solution has a lot of merits to it. And
we
in the end,
selling wine fridges.
Huh?
We won't be selling wine fridges.
Not yet. The whole idea, of course, of this e-commerce marketplace approach with a full integration into Skywards, and giving the passengers that choice at any point of the journey is really the key here. But then we don't end there. Of course, what's super important is that a lot of the interactions and a lot of the sales of ancillaries, not just physical duty-free products, but also, for example, seat upgrades or other ancillaries, destination experience, etc., happen while people are on the plane. And so it was extremely important to close that previously, I don't think, ever closed gap between what people have done on the ground and what they now do on the aircraft, by having an iOS-based EPOS solution that knows exactly what that passenger has already done previously, that is fully integrated with that previous e-commerce journey, and that gives the crew the ability to sell at any touch point. And I think a key thing, and most of you who do retailing on board know that there's quite often a limitation by the amount of devices that are traveling traveling on board that limit your sales. And by putting a sales device into every single crew member's hand, which is, I think, 36 on average per flight, is that right?
24 on the 3.
Sorry, okay. So I was a bit exaggerating.
We'll take it. Yeah.
The pilots are not selling, right?
Not yet.
Of course, that opens completely new opportunities because you don't have this rigid process as, okay, we're starting a sales session now, then we're closing the sales session. You can't do last-minute wishes for the customers anymore, etc. So it opens up a lot of new merits. And also the ability, for example, to go paperless creates a lot less friction for the crew. They don't need multiple devices in their hand. You might have seen crew have a huge EPOS device and a printer device and then maybe a tablet as well. How do they even juggle all of that and still explain a product to you? So having everything in a single device is really a key thing that also the crews have been asking for all along. And then, of course, integrating all of that, as we said, into the new Thales Avant Up IFE with a full caching engine on board that enables the entire experience to need very, very limited connectivity is a key thing in making this also viable. You're probably aware that data traffic can cost so much that it becomes sometimes prohibitive to sell low-cost items on board. By basically caching most of the content on board, you can avoid these very high data costs and also enable offline browsing when there's no connectivity, enable order to seat, so the passengers can order while they're sitting down and then the crew brings it to them. That is a key part of that seamless journey. So maybe to close up, a little marketing slide from my side, just to give you an idea of how we enable something like that. We've been able to build basically a technology suite that consists out of 3 different core areas. One is a full e-commerce pre-order, pre-select platform that enables the selling of any product, whether it's a virtual product, a digital product, or a physical retail product, food, duty-free, etc. Then a very powerful in-flight retailing engine that works both on EPOS and IFE that the crew can use, either on IFE or through 3-in-1 Android devices. And then, of course, what is the most complex part is the entire order management, supply chain, warehouse management, and everything that is behind there that facilitates all of the transactions and everything. And this all essentially enables such a journey that previously would require airlines to work at least with 2, if not 3 different vendors to do. So that is really what we've been trying to achieve.
Let me end a quick word at the end. So I think I mentioned we see a lot of unserved demand in this space, and that's why we're super committed to do this investment and work with Omnevo. And I think oftentimes, from an airline perspective, we're very quick to say, okay, there is no demand in a certain area, because of our inability to serve it or to innovate, and that's kind of like an easy way out. So it's like, I think need to be honest to ourselves, make sure we are up to snuff when it comes to the quality of the product, our capabilities, rather than saying there's no demand for in-flight retail. I think we've seen that a lot in the industry, and in our view, more often than not, that's not the lack of demand. So thank you guys very much. Thanks, Kian, for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank
Thanks.
you.